welcome back to Rue's Life, and welcome to January 2022's Ponderings from the Polytunnel. It's actually a really lovely day here today, and it's quite warm, so it's about 13 degrees here in the Polytunnel, hence no bobble hat, no gloves, no jacket. It's absolutely lovely, and it's about 9 or 10 degrees outside. And lots has happened as usual in the last month since I filmed my last Ponderings. So get yourselves a cup of tea and come and join me in the Polytunnel. So for those of you that celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year. We had an absolutely perfect day. It was the first year for about 8 years, I think, that we actually both were off on the 25th. I did have to go into work in the evening, but we had the bulk of the day together. And we had an absolutely lovely time. We relaxed, we enjoyed opening a few presents, and then we cooked our Christmas meal. All the vegetables were homegrown, including my Brussels sprouts. Yay! Finally I have battled with my Brussels sprout and brassica nemesis, if you like, and I really did succeed this year by putting in that brassica cage, and I'll pop a link up above to that. Such a simple thing to do, and what a difference it made to the success of my brassicas, and also keeping on top of the slugs, which I do with beer traps, and I did use nematodes as well, and I had a fantastic bumper crop. So yeah, Christmas dinner, all homegrown veg and a game pie, and the game was all from the local shoot, which is literally in the field next door to our farm. So all home produced food for our Christmas dinner, which was just lovely. So I'll start with the animals. The horses are great, and they're up in their winter grazing now. I've been riding Garth regularly. He's clipped out, he's looking great, he's feeling great, and I'm really enjoying riding him. Haven't found any competitions yet. Very much out of the habit with lockdown and everything, and not being able to go, and then changing my job and so on. But you know, we'll get there when we get there, but I am looking forward to getting back out and doing that. I love competing, and I'd be a liar if I said there wasn't a competitive side to me when I do compete, but I will be honest and say that my really competitive days are over. They were in my younger years when it really mattered to come home with a red rosette or to qualify for, you know, championships and so on. Now I can honestly say I just enjoy the day. So the whole process of getting up early in the morning, that anticipation, there's a lot of preparation goes in the weeks and days leading up, but very much the day before, getting all my tack clean, getting all my kit together, getting Garthy bathed and tucked up for the night, so that in the morning he can be absolutely spotless, getting that hoof oil on, brushing out his mane and tail, and then plaiting him up, getting his travel gear on, loading, travelling, again more anticipation, getting into that working in area, and then finally getting into the competition arena, and then awaiting for your results. And you know, I really enjoy the day. We pack a picnic, we enjoy ourselves, it's great interacting with other competitors. It's a really friendly bunch at a couple of the venues that we go to, and I miss that element. And then, you know, we load Mr. Garthy back up and getting the results. It's always nice to have done well, but it's just the cherry on the cake if we happen to have had a success in the judges' eyes. It doesn't take away all the enjoyment that we've already had. So I am looking forward to getting back out, and I think I just need a little shove just to get back into that. There's a little bit of anxiety there because we haven't done it for a while, but I'm sure once I find a competition and get to it, I'll be bitten by the bug again, and that will, you know, give me that shove that I need to kind of push through my anxiety and get back out there. So that's the horses. Chickens are still under cover, but we're really pleased with that new setup. I'll pop a link above in case you didn't see that. So here in the UK, our chickens are still under chicken lockdown because of the risk of avian flu. But they're coping really well, and as I say, this new setup that we've done this year is brilliant and has made such a difference to them first and foremost, which is important, and their environmental enrichment, but also to us and the ease of care for them. It's really worked out well. The sheep, I still haven't moved them down to their winter grazing. They're looking really well. They're still on the menage field, and there's still a little bit of pickings there for them. So they're staying where they are for now, but we will chuck them down there. You know, we're at midwinter now. We've got a way to go before the grass really starts to kick in again, so they can stay put for now. The dogs, so Kaylee, who's our tripod three-legged dog, she's absolutely fit as a fiddle. Little Kay had her 6-month cardiology checkup at the vet hospital, and she's doing okay. You know, we know she's never going to get better. However, the good news is that her heart at the moment is as stable as we can get it. So from 6 months ago to now, it's fairly stable, but her blood work has picked up that she may have some other underlying conditions going on now. So we think there may be some issues with her liver and possibly kidneys, so she's going to need some further workup for those. I'm just pursuing it with the Greyhound Trust because she is funded entirely by the Greyhound Trust. I will pop a link to Kay's story above because some of you may not be aware of her story, so I won't bore you with all the details now. If you are interested, you can hop onto that little video and hear all about Kay. But we're going to push on. She's really happy. She's eating. She's Scooby-Dooing around the garden. She goes out for little walks. You know, she doesn't know that she's poorly, but I would like to get that investigated and add in any other treatment that we can if she needs it, because obviously we want to give her as good quality of life as we possibly can. So that's the animals. As far as growing and gardening is concerned, there's not a huge amount going on here, and I think some of you will have watched my most recent plot tour and also my most recent video where I've made at last my flower bed ready. So that bed is now ready for planting up, and I'm really excited about that. We have also put in about 150 more bulbs underneath the oak tree in the front garden. I did put quite a lot in last year, but I'm really looking forward to those, you know, spring flowering bulbs coming up under that oak tree. So I'm looking forward to that, and I will share it with you when they start to flower and bloom. We recently acquired a mountain of wood chip, and I'm going to do a video on that, which will be coming out at some point, but I'm absolutely thrilled. It's meant that I've been able to top up my pathways, and I've got plenty left over for some up and coming projects, which I will share with you. But that was just a really fantastic find. As I say, I will be making a video about that, so watch out for that. But back to my flower bed. So one of the eagle eyes of you spotted, and I can't actually remember if it was on a video or one of my either Instagram or Facebook posts, and if you haven't already found my Ruse Life Instagram and Facebook page, I'd love it if you'd pop over and join me on those. I try and put lots of posts out about sort of life here on the farm, you know, and it is connected very much to this channel. So I'll pop some links. There are links in the bio about section, but I'll pop some links below. If you're interested, I'd love you to hop over and share with me on those pages as well. But one of the eagle eyes of you spotted and made a comment about this book which I have in the shed, and it's Jeff Hamilton's Cottage Gardens. Good old Jeff Hamilton. I absolutely loved watching him on the television many years ago when I had one, and I've always loved this book. I found it really inspirational. Just these beautiful Cicerantium on the front. I used to have some in a garden many years ago, but some of the photographs, I mean, just look. I don't know if you can pick that up at that, but you know, I can sit and gaze at the pictures of these gardens for hours. And finally I have made my flower bed, and very much inspired by this book, I'm going to fill it up with beautiful flowers. So I'm not going to go on and on and on, but I will just give you a brief idea of the sort of things I'm going to be putting into that bed. So I've got some alliums that I bought at the Malvern Autumn Show. I've got another little packet of allium here. I've got Canterbury Bells, more calendula. I love calendula. Californian poppy, one of my favourites. I've got a mix of cornflower, some poppies, lupins, more Canterbury Bells, Sweet William, which are an absolute childhood favourite of mine. I grew these when I was a very little girl, and they've really stayed with me. I just adore all the different colours and the feathered edges. They're so pretty. I've got, thank you to Ali, I've got some zinnia, some marigolds, some giant marigolds. What else have I got in here? Oh, some absolutely beautiful these Bachelor's Button Black Boy, which I can't remember when you sent those, Ali, but I didn't get round to sewing them. Always with this bed in mind. A fantastic selection of really interesting poppies and pansies, again from Ali. Thank you, Ali. I could go on. I've got, as you can see, a great big box full here, and I'm really looking forward to getting these started and getting that bed started. So that's a really exciting project. I'll just have a little slurp of my tea. So, on to books. Books that I have been reading and the book that I'm reading at the moment. So I think I mentioned in the December Ponderings that I was reading quite a lot of Christmassy books. And one of them was actually for a book club, an online book club that I joined. I actually left the book club. It was something that had been set up off the back of another group that I'd been in, and that group has, I left that group some time ago because I'd got everything I needed from it. It was a lovely group, and I left for no other reason than I just felt that I'd gained everything I could from it. But actually, after I've left, sometime later, the club actually folded anyway. I'm going off piste. But a few lovely members of that group had decided to set up a book club and had got in touch, and they were doing it through Messenger. And I'm sure they're having a grand old time, but I just was finding that it wasn't for me. There was lots of kind of messages going on, and I can be a little bit stuffy sometimes. For me, you know, it was a book club. It was supposed to be about the book that we were reading and the date that it would be, but there was so much chit chat going on that I just was losing track of it. And I was also finding the pressure of I must read this book for a particular date. Kind of was pressure I didn't need, so I sent a lovely message and just said thank you very much, but I'm going to step out. But the book that we were reading was The Merry Christmas Project by Bramley, and it was a lovely little story. I really enjoyed it, and it was quite nice reading a few festive books over the festive season. And I also read, in the same theme, A Christmas Kiss by Vicky Patterson, and that was really sweet. It was a lovely little tale. Again, just easy reading and nice to read at that time of the year. And Starry Night by Debbie Mackomer. I think that's how you pronounce it, and that was a really lovely book as well. I could actually recommend that one, but again, it was kind of around a Christmassy theme. And I don't know about you, but I used to be able to read any book at any time of the year, so I could read a summery book in the middle of winter and a wintry book in the middle of summer. But now I find that a little bit more tricky, and I like to kind of read, if a book is based around a particular season, I actually enjoy reading it during that season. But that's just me. You might be different. Pop me a comment below if you agree or if you think that's completely crazy. But that was another really enjoyable book, and I can recommend it. So if you don't mind reading festive books at any time of year, I recommend reading it now. But if you're a bit like me, it's one to maybe think about getting and putting away and to look forward to next Christmas. And then the book that I'm reading at the moment is called The Good Liar, and it's by Nicholas Searle, and I am really, really enjoying it. I'm only about a quarter of the way in, and it's got me hooked already, and I'm really intrigued as to where this is going to go. So yeah, really, I could recommend this, and I haven't even finished it, but I will let you know in February's Ponderings how I got on with it. And then on to things that we've watched or currently watching. We recently watched the new James Bond film. I can't remember what it was called. We paid a couple of quid for it online, and it was, oh my goodness, it was really, really good. Very different from any James Bond films I've watched before, but I really, really enjoyed that one. So that's definitely worth a watch. Oh, there's a big tractor. And then I think it was on Netflix with James Nesbitt, Stay Close. If any of you haven't watched it already, I can highly recommend it. Really, really good. Yeah, really enjoyed that one. And I love James Nesbitt, and he just doesn't seem to age. So yeah, that was really good. And again, good twists and turns, and ended up going somewhere I really didn't expect. So yeah, that was a really good season. We really enjoyed that. We saw a lot of social media posts around Christmas and New Year about the film Don't Look Up. And off the back of seeing other people watching it, we thought, well, you know, what's this all about? Let's watch it. And oh my goodness, it was fabulous. Really thought-provoking. If you haven't watched it already, I highly recommend. But it really genuinely left us a little shell-shocked at the end. We just sat quite quietly, and I was quite stunned. Fabulous film, very, very clever, really enjoyed it. Highly, highly recommend that one. And then we're currently watching a season, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. Something 81. It's on Netflix, and essentially the storyline is this chap has been contacted to restore old camcorder footage from this building that ended up burning down, and it's about the lives of the people that have lived there, and it's a very strange building, and there's a lot of weirdness going on there. Can't remember, something 81. I'll put a caption here when I edit with the name of that one. Absolutely loving it, really enjoying it. Bit dark, bit twisted, a little bit gory in places, so if you don't like that kind of thing, it's not your cup of tea. But yeah, really, really enjoying that. I recently, at the beginning of the new year, there's a fantastic Facebook group and also online. She has a website and YouTube as well. Lovely lady called Nick Wagstaff. She also runs things locally here, retreats and yoga and Pilates and all sorts. She's absolutely brilliant. It's very much, you know, a holistic approach to life. And I've been involved and signed up to many of her things. Not actually managed to do anything in person yet, simply because of the whole thing that's doing the rounds that we don't like to talk about. But she's absolutely brilliant. And she was doing a 4-day mood boost online, and I really, really enjoyed that. It was just, you know, got the old brain cells thinking a bit differently. You know, be kind to ourselves and just be a little bit gentle and be aware of what's going on around us, and how can we make little changes. You know, it's very easy to go into that kind of January slump, isn't it, and to be feeling a bit under the weather and a bit overwhelmed. So a combination of having changed my jobs, everything's been a bit full on, getting the January blues, and I found that mood boost a real pick-me-up. So in my last Ponderings, I talked about the theatre. Those of you that follow me will know that I love to frequent the theatre, Chris and I together, and it's something I used to do many years ago with my mum, and was very much looking forward to an exhibition that I'd also had a little bit of input in myself in the way of a voice clip memory. So an exhibition that they were putting on, an interactive exhibition called A Building Full of Memories, and that was to celebrate our local theatre, Theatre Clwyd, their 45th anniversary. Unfortunately, a whole series of events meant that I didn't make it. I couldn't. I was going to pop over to Mum's, stay over and take her to see the exhibition, but a series of events happened, which I won't bore you with the details, which meant that unfortunately we couldn't go. But I did contact the theatre just to let them know, and they were absolutely lovely. In fact, they sent me a really personal email back, which was really, really sweet of them. So that was disappointing, but you know, sometimes we have to write things off, and there's no point getting hung up about it. You know, it didn't happen, there we are. But I know that the event itself did happen, and I hope the people that went, maybe you're one of those people, let me know. Maybe you heard my little voice clip, you know, if you're somebody that's local. But you know, that's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? But there's loads of things coming up. And as I've mentioned before, we are members of the theatre, so we get some advanced booking and we get discounts if we book in blocks and so on. So they've got an absolutely massive stuff coming up. They've got some comedies, they've got some Shakespeare, some drama, and all sorts going on. So we're going to get booked up for a few performances. There's one around my birthday that I'd quite like to go and see, and it's called Same Time Next Year. And it just looks really good, so there's a possibility we might go and see that, and I may be talking about that in next month's Ponderings, but we are just having to be a little bit careful financially at the moment with one thing or another, so we may or may not go to that one, but I'll let you know. And that's pretty much all for this month's Ponderings. I hope that you're all well. I hope that you are getting excited about the growing season ahead. Let me know in the comments below what you've been up to. Have you read any of my book recommendations? Have you got any book recommendations for me? What have you been watching? What's going on in your lives? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you all. And I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you, as ever, to you that have supported me, right the way through. Anybody that's jumped on at any point, so old subscribers, not that you're old, you know what I mean, but also I have had a big influx of new subscribers recently, so thank you so much to all of my subscribers. It really does mean a huge amount to me. It's not just words that I spew out for the camera, I genuinely mean it. Every time I get a little ping to tell me I've had a new subscriber and I see that people are watching and engaging, I really, really love it, and I love to hear from you all. So thank you so much. So I think I'm just going to sit here and soak up this lovely warmth in the Polytunnel for a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.